Today we're going to be looking at operations on polynomials. Those operations are going to be addition, subtraction, and multiplication. A polynomial is an algebraic expression, numbers and variables and exponents that are all, the exponents are all positive integers, whole numbers. So let's start with addition and subtraction. When you see the parentheses the way that you have them, your brain sometimes automatically thinks that you want to multiply, but let's notice that we've got addition in the center here. So really it's 5x squared minus 3x plus 2 plus 8x squared plus 4x minus 7. So think about it more as there's a 1 here and a 1 here, and if I distributed those, nothing changes, and that's okay, but it helps me to get rid of those parentheses. So we have 5x squared minus 3x plus 2 plus 8x squared plus 4x minus 7. And then I'm going to combine using like terms, my addition and subtraction, right? 5x squared plus 8x squared is 13x squared. Let's see, negative 3x plus 4x is positive 1x. Remember, you don't need to write the 1. You can, but not necessary. And then positive 2 minus 7 is negative 5. And so my final polynomial is 13x squared plus x minus 5. Notice that the exponents are in descending order. We want to make sure that we keep this in what's called standard form so that all of my exponents go down, right? 2, 1, none, okay? The same process applies when we're subtracting. Again, there's a 1 in front of that set of parentheses. There's a negative 1 right here. So let's be careful with our signs when we distribute. So 1 changes nothing, so we're left with 6x squared minus x plus 3. That guy stays the same. And then when I distribute that negative 1, what happens is all of my signs change. Negative 1 times 9 is negative 9. Don't forget the x squared. Negative 1 times 4x is negative 4x. And then negative 1 times 10 is negative 10. And just like we did above, we'll combine our like terms. 6x squared minus 9x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative x minus 4x is negative 5x. And then finally 3 minus 10 is negative 7. And again, all those exponents in descending order, 2, 1, none. Negative 3x squared minus 5x minus 7. Next, we're going to multiply, which I believe we've done before. So just remember, you're taking that 3x and you're multiplying it by everything in that second set of parentheses. 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times 8 is positive 24x. And then I do the same thing with my negative 4. Negative 4 times 2x is negative 8x. And negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. When I combine like terms, in the middle here, I've got a 24x and a negative 8x. That 6x squared has no one to combine with, so he'll stay the same. 24x minus 8x is 16x. And then don't forget the minus 32. Again, nothing to combine with, so stays the same. Exponents in descending order, 2, 1, none. 6x squared plus 16x minus 32. Now, when you have that exponent outside the parentheses like this, remember that means I'm going to take that 4x minus 3, or whatever happens to be inside those parentheses, and I'm going to multiply it by itself however many times that exponent tells me to do so. So in this case, twice. Make sure that you're doing the same thing we did for number 8. So 4x gets multiplied by 4x, 16x squared, and 4x also gets multiplied by negative 3, which is negative 12x. And then we'll multiply that negative 3 by 4x, another negative 12x, and then negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. In the middle here, I've got negative 12x and negative 12x. My 16x squared will stay the same. If you owe me 12 and then you owe me 12 more, so negative 12 minus 12, that's negative 24. Don't forget the x, plus 9. Exponents in descending order. 2, 1, none. 16x squared minus 24x plus 9. And now finally, we're going to multiply a binomial and a trinomial. Remember, bi is that prefix meaning 2, and tri is our prefix that means 3. So the idea here, again, is exactly the same as when we did numbers 8 and 9, where we multiplied two binomials. By the way, nice trick here, 2 times 2 is 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you multiply two terms times two terms, before you combine, you should have 4 terms. So that same idea will work here. I have 2 terms, a binomial, times 3 terms, a trinomial, should end up with 6 terms. Let's take that 3x and multiply by everything in the other set of parentheses. 3x times 6x squared is 18x to the third. Remember, x here is x to the first. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3x times negative 4x is negative 12x squared. And 3x times 2 is positive 6x. And then just like numbers 8 and 9, we'll move on to that negative 5 and multiply by everything in this other set of parentheses. Negative 5 times 6x squared is negative 30x squared. Negative 5 times negative 4x is positive 20x. And negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. And then we'll combine like terms just like we did in every example so far. Now, the x to the third has no other x to the thirds to combine with, so he'll stay the same, 18x to the third. 12x squared combines with negative 30x squared, negative 12x squared minus 30x squared is negative 42x squared. Remember, when we add and subtract like terms, the term stays the same, so that x squared stayed the same. And then 6x combines with 20x, both positive, to give me positive 26x. And then nothing to combine with that number, just a number, negative 10, so he stays. And then our exponents all in descending order. X to the third, x squared, x to the first, x to the 0. 3, 2, 1, none. So our final product is 18x to the third minus 42x squared plus 26x minus 10.